Hi friends, I'm Camila and welcome to today's Journey into Splits. This is Ramona and today's class we're going to focus in the journey into this peak pose, HANUMANASANA, rather than the peak pose in itself. So what we're looking for is to really take it step by step, be kind to ourselves and focus on the warming up of the body to get a little further into the opening of the hamstrings rather than pushing ourselves into that peak pose, which can be very deep, very demanding in opening the muscles. So take it step by step. Remember, it's about the journey and let's have fun with it. So we're going to start on our backs, setting ourselves up for bridge pose. So feet hip width apart, heels under our knees or close into our glutes, arms next to the torso. And before we begin, just take the time to let yourself settle in this space, in this time. Setting the breath. This will be a dynamic, invigorating class. So take this opportunity to ground before we begin moving. And so throughout the class, you can always come back to this point of the class where your breath was smooth, deep, and mind settled. And use this as a reminder throughout these minutes, this hour, that we'll be moving a little bit more dynamic. Gently blinking your eyes open. Stretching the right leg up towards the ceiling. Pushing through the heel, all toes facing down, grabbing behind the thigh. And if this feels like too much, you can always bend the knee a little, or if you have a belt or strap handy, you can always place it behind the right foot. Gently, you're going to take the right foot across over towards, like if you wanted to bring it over the left hip. So now you're going to feel the opening a little more on the side of the right thigh, that IT band. For those runners, this is a really nice stretch for the IT band. And coming back through center, keeping the right leg as lengthened as possible. If you have the strap or belt, put it to the side and just keep it lengthened as much as you can. In a dynamic way, in the inhale, you're going to push your hips up, keeping the right leg up facing towards the sky. And in the exhale, lower down. We're going to do that 7 more times. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale and lower, pressing through the arms and the palms of the hands against the mat to help you lift. Continue at your own pace, following the rhythm of your breath. Make sure the left knee, the left leg is in the same line as the hip socket, so it's not splurging out to the side. Last one. And lower. Again, grabbing behind the leg or maybe a little higher up if it's available, or even reaching for the toe as you lengthen the left leg forward. If it's too much, feel free to go wherever feels right. Again, if you have the belt or strap, feel free to use that as well to modify. Left leg is facing up and it's active. You're pushing through both heels. Beginning to warm up the legs, the backs of the legs as well. Gently bending the left leg once again, creating a figure 4 with the right leg, taking the ankle over the thigh. Bringing the left leg in, grabbing behind the thigh as you push the right knee out to the side, opening that right hip. Just briefly. And releasing the leg, opening the arms in a T. You're going to let the legs fall over towards the left as you look over towards the right. Letting the right knee also fall. Now feel free to grab the left foot behind you. So opening that quad, the left quad. So you're grabbing the foot and pulling the heel in towards the glute as the left knee falls over towards the left side. And coming back through center. Other side. Lengthening the left leg up towards the ceiling. Bending the right knee, placing the foot on the mat. Pressing through the left heel. Grabbing behind the left leg wherever feels right. Keeping shoulders and head relaxed on the mat. Continuing that breath that we first set, using these longer holds to really focus on that rhythm of breath that we first set at the beginning of the class. And letting go of the left leg, you're going to take the left foot over towards the right hip, just slightly, so opening the left IT band, keeping the leg as straight as you can. Pushing through the heel. Coming back through center, pushing through the left heel, taking both arms next to your sides, palms of the hands facing down, pushing your hips up into this dynamic bridge and lower. Continue at your own pace, following the rhythm of your breath for 8. Last 2. Last 1. And lower all the way down, keeping the left leg lengthened. Take the right leg towards the front of the mat. Lengthening both legs, pushing through both heels. Both legs are active. As you begin to warm up the hamstrings and the legs, find that maybe you can go a little deeper. Maybe not. And gently placing the right foot back onto the mat, taking the left ankle over the right thigh for a figure 4 as you bring the right leg in towards your chest, opening the left hip. Opening the arms in a T out to the sides, letting both legs fall over towards the right as you look over towards the left. Letting both knees fall towards the side for an easy twist. If you went for the back foot on the other side, do so with this side, with the left hand searching for the right foot behind you as you pull the heel in towards the glute, opening the right quad. And releasing the foot if you were grabbing it. Coming back through center, pulling both knees into the chest, giving yourself a big hug. We're going to find our way into our first down dog. Either rock and roll back and forth, or come onto the side, placing your hands in front of you, stepping back, downward facing dog. For this first down dog, bend the knees slightly. Everyone bend the knees as you lengthen through the crown of the head and the sits bones reach up towards the ceiling. Maybe bending one knee, the other, beginning to warm up. Taking a couple breaths as you make this down dog dynamic. And gently finding your steady down dog. Walking your hands back towards your feet as your weight comes fully onto your feet. Coming into ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows, letting the torso hang heavy. And maybe beginning to lengthen the legs a little more as we begin to be more warm in our hamstrings. If not, feel free to bend them as much as you need. Maybe swaying from side to side. And coming back through center, releasing the hands, walking your hands back into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to do 3 vinyasas. Feel free to modify your vinyasas for yourself. So maybe knees will be down. Maybe it will be cobra, not up, full up dog. Feel free to do it at your own pace and what feels right for you. So from here, from down dog, we'll shift forward into plank pose. Lowering halfway into your vinyasa. Flipping your feet, cobra or up dog. Flipping your feet once again, downward facing dog. We're going to do that 2 more times. Shifting once again, plank pose. Lowering halfway, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Last one. Shifting over your wrists. Lowering halfway, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, and we'll all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, wherever you are, if your knees are bent, your heels aren't on the mat, whatever version of down dog you're in, everyone's going to lift their toes, feeling the backs of the legs open and engage. And we're going to hold it with our toes lifting for 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower the toes down. Lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. Keeping the hips closed, you're going to bring your knee into your nose and lengthen back. Taking the knee towards the right armpit. Hold here. You're going to lower the knee to hover over the mat towards the wrist. And lift. 2 more just like that. Lower the knee to hover. And lift. Last one. Knee to hover over the mat. And lift. Swaying the knee into the nose and placing the foot between both hands. Lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, low lunge. The knee remains always over the ankle, not in front of the ankle. And arms lengthened up towards the ceiling. Both hips are squared. Inhale. And in the exhale, lower your hands down onto the mat, lengthening the right leg, half splits. And your half splits, if you have blocks or any prop, you can always prop yourself up a little to come off of the stretch a little and find a little more length through the crown of the head, through the spine. If you don't have any, feel free to tent your fingertips. Lift the heart. Gently bending the right leg, walking the hands towards the front of the mat, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee. Before we lift, find length through the crown of the head. Bring both arms next to your ears and lift the torso only 30 degrees, so halfway up. Finding length from the back heel all the way towards the crown of the head, almost as if you wanted one straight line from the heel to the fingertips, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower the hands down. Step it back through your vinyasa. Plank pose. Always feel free to skip these whenever you've had enough. Other side. Lift the left foot up, closing the hips, pushing through the heel, and bring the left knee into the nose. Lengthen back. Left knee towards the left armpit. Hold. Lower the knee to hover over the mat towards the wrist. And lift. 2 more. Lower. And lift. Last one. Lower. Lift. Hold. Sway the knee into the nose and place the foot between both hands. Lowering the back knee, the back of the foot. Lift the torso up. Low lunge. Hips shifted forward as you find length through the tailbone to not crunch the low back. And lower the hands down, half splits. Pushing through the left heel, squaring off the hips. Heart lengthens forward. Remember, it's about the journey. We're going to do many of these half splits, so take it easy. Maybe this first one, your knee is a little more bent. You're on your fingertips. Maybe by the last half split, you're a little further down. Bending the left leg, walking the hands forward, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee. Before you lift, find that length through the crown of the head all the way to the back heel. There's a little lift of the low belly, lengthening both arms next to the ears, and lift 30 degrees, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower both hands down, stepping through your vinyasa. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. And the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Lift, long, strong back all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, plant both hands next to the feet. Step the left foot back. Lowering the back knee for low lunge. If the low lunges feel like too much on the knee, first, always try to find a lift, almost like if when you press down, you're lifting up. So you're not jamming your knee down into the mat and it's not all the weight isn't going down on the back knee. If it's still very sensitive, you can always use a blanket, a pillow to place under your back knee to support it. From here, from low lunge, we're going to bend the back knee, looking for the back foot behind us. Pulling the heel in towards the glute, opening the left quad. And hold for 3, 2, and release the knee, lifting both arms up. Placing both hands back onto the mat, lifting the back, placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee, crescent lunge. Lifting both arms up, bending the back knee a little to find both hips facing forward. As we work into splits and we're really working the backs of our legs, we want to make sure our hips are always squared, facing forward. Inhale, and on the exhale, lower both hands down to square off the right foot, lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling, twisting open. Feel free to stay here. For those who want to take it a step further, we're going to come into Vashisthasana, side plank. Couple options for side plank. Either feet stacked for the more traditional version. If you want to modify it, you can take the top foot in front of the back foot, a little more support. And we're going to hold here for 3 more breaths. Making sure your hips are pushing up towards the ceiling. And lower the right hand down. Coming through your vinyasa. Lowering halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up. Opening the hip, bending the knee. Taking the left heel towards the left glute. So now you can get that nice release in the left front of the hip. Gently closing it off, bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between both hands. A brief low lunge, placing the back knee, lifting both arms up. Inhale, and on the exhale, release the hands down. Place the back toes, the back of the knee. Step the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need. Inhale, long, strong back all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Other side. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, swan dive down. Heart leads down towards the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step the right foot back. Placing the back knee, the back of the foot, lifting the torso up, low lunge. So as I said on the other side, making sure both hips are squared, feeling the opening in the back of the left leg as well as in the front of the right hip. And taking it a little step further, grabbing the back foot with both hands. Pulling the heel in towards the glute, belly button in and up. Gently lengthen the right leg back. Placing both hands down, half splits. Once again, heart reaches forward. Left hip pulls back to remain squared with the right hip. And bending the left leg, walking the hands forward, placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee, crescent lunge, lifting the torso up, bending the back leg slightly, squaring off the hips. Belly button in and up so we're not splurging the ribs out towards the front. And lower both hands down. Keeping the right hand on the mat, lifting the left arm up. Twisting open towards the left. Left hip crease pulls back. Again, feel free to stay here if you did that on the other side, or take the left foot back for side plank, Vashisthasana. Whatever version feels right for you. As you push the hips up, left hip over the right, and take 2 more breaths. And the next exhale, lower the left hand down, coming through your vinyasa. Elbows tucked in for chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. Open the hip and bend the knee. Make sure both sides of the torso are facing down. Closing the right leg off. Bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, low lunge. One breath here. Inhale as you lift. Exhale, lower the hands down. Place the back toes onto the mat. Lift the back knee. Step the left foot to meet the front. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. We're going to continue with 3 sun salutations, sun A's, and then continue with 1 sun B. Feel free to do it at your own pace. Inhale, arms up. On the exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or hop back. If you step back into plank, if you hop directly into chaturanga. Lower halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 full rounds of breath in down dog. The next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or hop towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Coming all the way up with a long back. Hands in front of the heart. 2 more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or float back through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. We'll all meet in downward facing dog for 3 rounds of breath. And in the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold. Lift all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Last one. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet, step or float back. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog for 3 rounds of breath. As you hold your down dog, be aware of maybe you're a little warmer and you can easily find a long spine and maybe even lengthen the legs a little more or reach the heels a little closer towards the mat, without losing that long spine. And the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Here we go, 1 round of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Bending the knees, arms next to the ears. If you look down, you can see your toes wiggling because your knees are behind them. Your torso lifts, you're not just collapsing on your thighs. Holding for 2 more rounds of breath. The next exhale, fold over. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet, step or float back through your vinyasa. We'll all meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, bringing the right knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, rolling the back heel down, placing the foot at a 30-degree angle for warrior 1. Arms up. Along the ears, palms of the hands face each other. The left hip rolls forward, trying to square off with the right hip. Inhale. Exhale, lower both hands down. Step it back, plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Other side. Left knee into the nose, placing the foot between the hands. Warrior one, lifting the torso up. Back edge of the back foot is really pressing down. The whole back foot is on the mat. Inhale. And on the exhale, lower both hands down. Step the left foot back, plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, 3 rounds of breath. And then the next exhale, bend the knees, look forward, step or float towards the front of the mat. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, coming back, Utkatasana, chair pose for 1 round of breath. Inhale, and lengthen, bringing the arms in front of the heart. We're going to continue meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or float back through your vinyasa, or feel free to skip it. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From down dog, lift the right leg up, keeping the hips squared, bringing the knee into the nose, shifting the shoulders over the wrists, hold, and lengthen back. Pushing through the back heel. Inhale, bring it into the nose, and lengthen back. Last one, knee into the nose, place a foot between both hands, lift the torso up, crescent lunge. To really find squared hips, try to bend the back leg to make both crests of the hips face forward. Lower the back heel down, warrior one. And lengthen the front leg, bringing the back foot a little closer, prepping for pyramid pose. Both legs are long, hips are facing forward, arms in the low back as you fold forward. If you have blocks, it's nice to use them to keep the long spine and to help you, almost as if the floor were meeting you. If not, maybe coming onto your fingertips. If you can go further, taking the nose towards the right shin or right leg. And gently lifting the torso up, long spine coming all the way up to standing. Stepping the left foot to meet the right. We're getting the energy levels high, pumping. We're going to float, meeting in down dog to do the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, plant the hands next to the feet. Step or float back through your vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Bringing the left knee, lifting the left leg up towards the ceiling without opening the hip. Bringing the left knee into the nose. Hold. Really shift the shoulders over the wrists. Belly button scooping and lengthen back. 2 more. Knee into the nose and lengthen back. Last one. Hold here. Knee into the nose and place a foot between both hands. Lift the torso up, crescent lunge. Bending the back leg, hips squared. Crown of the head lengthens and roll the back heel down for warrior one, holding here. Right ribs are wrapping towards the front of the mat. And lengthen the front leg. For many of us, we have to shorten our stance a little to really square off the hips so both hips are facing forward, almost as if we were giving a really long step. Back heel pressing down, hands in the low back, and fold over the left leg, reaching for either the blocks, the mat, finding Length through the spine as you hinge forward a little deeper. And lengthen all the way back up. Stepping the right foot to meet the left. Standing in the front of the mat. We're going to separate our feet along the mat. Wide-legged stance. Hands in the low back. Heart lifts. And hinge forward, reaching for the mat with both hands. If you easily reach the mat, you can walk your hands back, taking the crown of the head towards the mat, and the arms come into a 90-degree angle. This is a transition for headstand pose. Gently from wherever you are, walking your hands back forward, long spine, all the way up to standing. You're going to open the right foot at a diagonal, so 30 degrees out. Coming into Skandasana on the right side. As you bend the right leg, taking the hips low towards the mat, lifting the left foot up to face the sky. If you can't plant the whole foot on the mat, the whole right foot, feel free to come onto your toes, or if you have a blanket, prop your heel under a blanket. Long spine, left heel pushes towards the back of the mat to really open behind the left leg. Right arm inside of the right leg, left arm up towards the ceiling. Now gently, you're going to walk both hands towards the left foot. You're going to square off the foot, coming into a runner's lunge. So the left foot is between both hands. And you're going to lift the torso up into crescent lunge. From crescent lunge, you're going to come into warrior 3, shifting the weight towards the left foot, keeping the left leg bent slightly to make sure that you can find the stability, shifting the torso forward, hands next to the ears, if you have space, or hands in front of the heart for warrior 3. Hold here for 3, 2, and lower back into crescent lunge gently and with control, lowering both hands down onto the mat. We're going to walk our hands back towards the middle, closing off the feet to come parallel, so you're in a wide-legged stance once again. Inhale, long spine, all the way up to standing, hands in front of the heart. So hopefully you were able to keep up. If it's a little too fast-paced, feel free to pause, watch, and then continue. We're going to do it on the other side. So, this time, interlacing your hands behind you, opening the chest, lifting the heart, forward fold over your legs. Hands can hang overhead as palm of the hands face each other. Remember, it's about the journey. It doesn't matter if your arms can't get that close towards the floor. It's just the fact that you're opening your shoulders wherever you're at. And from here, inhale, long spine all the way up to standing, releasing the hands. Skandasana on the left leg. Opening the left foot at a 30-degree angle, bending the left leg as you lift the right foot to face the sky. Left arm inside of the left leg, reaching the right arm up. Pushing through the right heel. Hold here, breathe in this deep opening. Gently lowering both hands down, walking both hands to square off the right foot into runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge, lifting the torso up. Finding the focus and the stability to shift into warrior 3, either hands next to the ears or in front of the heart. Shifting the weight towards the right foot, hips remain squared. Pushing through the back heel, don't forget about the flying leg. For 3, 2, and gently come back into crescent lunge. Inhale, and release both hands down onto the mat. We're going to walk both hands towards the center of the mat as we close off the feet, forward fold. Wide-legged forward fold. And inhale, long spine all the way up. Both feet meeting in the front of the mat. From here, we're going to continue meeting in downward facing dog. Feel free to take it to find your own personal way into down dog and skip your chaturangas. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. On the exhale, step, float, walk, meeting in downward facing dog. From down dog, lift the right leg up. Make sure both hip bones are facing down. They're square. From here, you're going to walk your hands back all the way below your shoulders. Right toes are facing down. Feel free to bend the left leg as much as you need. And maybe you'll continue walking your hands a little closer into the left foot, lifting the right leg up, keeping the hips squared, standing splits. Hold for 3, 2, and walk the hands back out into 3-legged down dog. Bringing the right foot into the knee, placing the foot between both hands. Lowering the back knee, the back of the foot, low lunge. Inhale. On the exhale, lower the hands down, half splits. Check in your journey. You've done many half splits throughout the class. Observe how you're feeling after having warmed up quite well, I would say. And maybe you're either going a little deeper or you're feeling more comfortable in these hamstring openers. Now from here, you're going to keep the right leg as is. Maybe if you have blocks, they might come in handy. If not, no worries. You can use your fingertips, or you just won't lengthen the back leg as much. You're going to place your back toes down, and you're going to lengthen the back leg as much as you can, ideally having both legs straight. If not, no worries, you can bend it, but try to prioritize keeping the right leg straight. The heel is down, and you're going to hold for 3 more breaths. Right hip crease is pulling back. And I'm going to take the left leg and place it on the mat, coming into a seated twist. So the knee is going to come outside of the right foot, pressing the whole right foot onto the mat. Inhale, lift the arms up. On the exhale, twist over towards the right, either hugging the right leg in or placing the elbow outside of the right thigh as you twist that. Looking over the right shoulder, those sits bones are grounded. If it feels like too much looking behind you, just look wherever your torso is facing. From your twist, you're going to lengthen the left leg out forward, keeping the twist. Both sits bones are grounded. Wherever you are, keeping both sits bones grounded and the spine long, you're going to search for the right foot with the left hand. And you're going to begin to push the heel, lengthening the right leg out and up. The right hand remains behind you. And if you can do this and keep a long spine, then maybe you'll lift the right arm behind you as well. Twisting open towards the right. Inhale. And on the exhale, coming back through center, releasing the right leg, Dandasana. crossing the legs, placing the hands in front of you, stepping back, downward facing dog. Other side, lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, finding both squared hips, maybe bending the right leg to really square off the hips as you begin to walk your hands under your shoulders. This might be enough for you today, or you might want to walk the hands a little closer into the foot, nose into the leg as you lift the back leg up, squaring off the hips. If you begin to open the hip to the side, then lower the leg a little. Gently walking the hands back out, three-legged down dog. Bringing the left knee into the nose, placing the foot between your hands, low lunge. Remember, this is your own class, and you can take it at your own pace. Pause the video, watch, redo it. Inhale, and on the exhale, lower the hands down, half splits on the left side. Remember, both sides will never be the same. I would say, almost none of us are completely even on both sides. So observe if it feels different on one side and the other. Now gently placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee, coming into this variation of pyramid where the left heel is pressing down, the toes are looking up, and maybe the back leg isn't completely bent, to prioritize the left leg and straightening. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And I'm going to take the right leg outside of the left foot, coming into a seated twist. Readjusting, placing the left foot outside of the right thigh. Inhale, arms up. Coming into your twist on the other side. Maybe looking behind you. Lengthening the bottom leg out towards the front of the mat, keeping the twist. Sits bones are grounding. And now you're going to transition as you look for the left foot with the right hand, lengthening the right leg. Maybe reaching the left hand behind you, keeping the twist, feeling the core assist you in the twist. And come back through center, dropping the left foot, placing both hands in front of you. You're going to come from here into a forward fold, so placing both feet onto the mat, pushing yourself up, lengthening the legs, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and lift all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. So as we begin to reach the end of the dynamic part of class, we're going to play with some balancing poses. Again, as we warm up the backs, as we work the backs of the legs, it's very important to really keep the hips squared. So don't try to go deeper and sacrifice the squareness of your hips. So keeping both hips looking forward, bringing the right knee into the chest. Shoulders remain over the hips. And you might stay here, or you might reach for your big toe with the 2 peace fingers. Left hand on the left hip as you begin to push the heel out, lengthening the right leg. Hold here. If you have a strap, it might also be useful. For 3, 2, and with control, you're going to let go of the foot without letting the leg drop. Swaying the leg back, warrior 3. Keeping the hips squared, maybe bending the standing leg a little to keep the outer hips stable. And with control, lowering the back foot, crescent lunge. Now, feel free to do it in your own way. We're going to lower from crescent lunge into low lunge. Please don't jam down into your back knee. If that's what's going to happen, place your hands down and do it step by step. If not, with control, lower the back knee down. Low lunge. Lowering both hands down, lengthening the front leg, last half split. So again, this class is named the Journey into Splits because it is not about the peak pose. It is about everything that makes up the peak pose, which is hamstrings, squaring off the hips, and quadriceps. So from here, feel free to stay here, or if you want to try to take it a little deeper, you're going to begin to take the left foot forward, slowly lowering the hips, coming into half splits. Again, if you begin to open up the hips and split them out to the side, then come off of the pose a little. So both hips are facing forward, and from there you lower. And wherever you are, I'm going to keep it for 5 full rounds of breath. Try to return to that first breath that we set, even in this very deep pose. And now gently coming back from where you came from, placing the left foot back onto the mat, coming into a low lunge, placing the back toes onto the mat, lifting the back knee. You're going to step the right foot to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, and come all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. Other side. Shifting the weight towards the left foot, bringing the right knee into the chest. You might stay here, or you might search for the big toe with the 2 peace fingers as you begin to push the heel forward. Hips remain square, shoulders over the hips. Holding here for 3, 2, and swaying the right leg back, coming into warrior 3. Sorry, I just realized I'm not really sure what leg we did on the other side first. So whatever leg you're doing now, just make sure it's not the same one you did at the beginning or on the other side. From warrior 3, with control, you're going to place the back toes down, crescent lunge, lifting the arms up. From crescent, with control, you're going to lower the back knee down, the back of the foot, arms long, lowering both hands down, half splits on the other side. Pretty sure I'm doing the wrong side this time, so please take it into your hands to do the other side that you haven't done yet. From half splits, again, feel free to stay here, or if you want to take it a step further, beginning to lengthen the left leg forward or the front leg forward, coming into your half splits, making sure your hips are square. Again, blocks come in handy to make sure your hips remain square. If you don't have any, you can always use books or coming onto your fingertips. Wherever you are, 3 more rounds of breath. And gently bending the left leg, coming into low lunge, walking the hands to square off the front foot, placing the back toes down, lifting the back knee, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown of the head. Exhale, forward fold, coming all the way up to standing. Hands in front of the heart. So finally beginning to get onto the floor to cool down. Bending the knees, we're going to come into a squatting position. Placing both sits bones onto the ground, lifting the legs, Navasana. Shins as parallel to the mat as possible by keeping the spine long. If the spine begins to round, then you lower the shins a little. We're going to hold here for 5 more rounds of breath. And release down. Arms long, facing forward. And 1 vertebrae at a time, we're going to lower all the way down onto the mat. Gently for 8, 7, feeling the belly button scooping in and up. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower all the way down. Keeping your feet hip width apart. Heels under your knees. We're going to come into full bridge pose. Pressing our hips up towards the sky as you interlace your hands under your hips. Pushing the arms against the mat to lift a little higher as we keep our legs parallel to each other. Shoving the shoulders under the heart, and we'll hold. Keeping the breath deep and steady. And lower down. We're going to do it 1 more time. Inhale, lifting the hips up, pressing the roof of the mouth towards the chest, towards the roof of the mouth, and the hips up towards the sky. 3, 2, and lower all the way down, bringing both knees into your chest, giving yourself a big hug. Opening your arms in a T, letting the knees fall over towards the right. Easy twist as you look over towards the left. Releasing all that tension, the energy that we built throughout the class, and just letting ourselves relax completely and let everything go. Rinsing it all out with the twist. Again, coming back through center, letting the legs fall over towards the other side as you look over towards the right. And coming back through center, lengthening the legs forward, arms next to the torso. Releasing completely onto the mat. Taking a second before we completely release into Shavasana to express gratitude towards yourself for enjoying the journey, for staying present throughout it, rather than just focusing on the final goal or the final pose. With that, I will leave you to enjoy your Shavasana. Take a good long Shavasana to really get all the goodness out of everything we did today. I hope you enjoy. See you next time. Namaste.